back to Gabbing with Jessa. Today I am bringing you my most anticipated books coming out, at least in the first half of 2021. Now, I'm usually not really good with up-to-date books on when new ones are coming out or anything like that, unless of course it's major new releases like the new Hunger Games prequel that came out this year, or Midnight Sun from Stephanie Meyer within the Twilight saga coming out. So unless it's really big announcements like that, I usually have no idea what's coming out. But I did find this blog of books that are coming out, at least in the first half of the year. I know that books are unlike movies, where movies you can figure out when they're coming out like a year in advance. I already know that there's going to be a Star Wars movie coming out on my 30th birthday, which isn't for another 5 years. I don't know what that Star Wars movie is, but they already have it planned to come out on that date. Books are a little bit different, where the releases are they just kind of show up. You never really know when one's going to come out unless an author has talked about it in the past, or again, unless it's a big release. I usually don't find out about them. So here are a few books that I found on this blog that sound really interesting to me that are coming out in the first half of 2021. The first one is called Nick by Michael Ferris Smith. This is coming out January 5th, and this is going to be following the story of Nick Carraway, who is a character from The Great Gatsby. So I believe that this book takes place before he ever meets Jay Gatsby, so it's his life and what was going on in his life before the whole Great Gatsby events happened. I know that The Great Gatsby is something that everyone has to read in high school, or at least it seems like it here in the US school system. At least at some point, everyone has to read it. I did read it then. I didn't really understand it much when I was a senior in high school, but I do want to reread it. And when I saw that this was coming out, this really, inspired me. I don't know. It was very intriguing to me. And so I may not pick this up right away in January, but I do want to read it sometime this year. It is just the first one that just happens to be coming out, like I said, on January 5th. The next is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas, that is coming out January 12th. I haven't read The Hate U Give yet by Angie Thomas, but this book does take place 17 years before the events of The Hate U Give, I believe in the same town or high school, and I really want to dive into Angie Thomas. She's an author that I want to get into in 2021, and so I wanted to mention this book because I know it is highly anticipated, and it's exciting for me because it is a prequel to The Hate U Give, and I really want to read The Hate U Give this year. I thought I was going to be able to get around to it this year, but that didn't happen. So for the upcoming year, I'm going to read The Hate U Give, and hopefully I will also read Concrete Rose. Most of these books I probably won't read when they first come out, just because of the kind of person I am, but it doesn't mean that I'm still not excited for them to read them at some point, hopefully in 2021, but maybe pushing it back to 2022. The next is Before She Disappeared by Linda Gardner, which is coming out on January 19th. This is a thriller book, and I absolutely love thriller books, and I want to discover more mystery and thriller authors, and there are a few thriller books on here by authors I have never read before, just because they're thrillers and I want to get into them. So this is about an ordinary woman who is her mission, she wants to find missing people that the world has forgotten about. That is the brief description that I saw. I don't really know what that means. I don't know if people are disappearing. It makes it sound like that from the title, and once they disappear, people forget about them, so she wants to try to find them. It just sounds really fascinating to me. I really want to know more about what, from that little blurb, exactly the author means. I'm hoping that it all works out in the end. I'm trying to go into books a little more blind, so I didn't want to read too much of a description or anything like that, because I want to just enjoy them and have fun and not potentially get spoiled for what is going to go down because of the main excerpt from the book. After that, starting for the first book for February release is going to be Game Changer by Neal Shusterman, which is coming out February 9th. I love Neal Shusterman. I love the Scythe trilogy. I want to read more by Neal Shusterman, and I love that he's coming out with another book. So after Ash gets hit on the football field, he actually gets knocked into another dimension. Apparently it's a very timely book with everything that's going on in the world, and so I'm really fascinated to read about what this dimension is, what the differences are, who Ash was as a football player, who Ash is going to become after this journey. It just seems like a book about self-discovery and learning, and I'm really fascinated by that, and I think Neal Shusterman will do a great job because Schusterman's great. Next, we have The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers, which is going to be released on February 16th. This is the UK release date, and the reason why I'm super excited for this is because the book club that I'm co-hosting, or co-host of the Interstellar Book Club, is actually going to be reading the Wayfarer series by Becky Chambers, which is leading up to this 4th book. I already have the first 2 books rented here from the library. This is what we're going to be reading for the month of January. If you would like to participate, I'll leave an announcement video by Steph. She has one going up. If she doesn't have it already, then she will have it eventually. But I'll leave that going up. So we're going to be reading the first 2 books in the series in January. We'll read this one. This is the first book. This is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. This is going to be the first book. We're going to read this in the first half of January, and then we're going to read this one, the sequel, which is A Closed and Common Orbit, for the second half of January, and then we will be having a live show discussing these 2 books on January 31st on Melody's channel. Melody is from Strawberry Lemon Books. I'll have her channel linked down below, along with Max and Steph's channel, who are also the co-hosts of the Interstellar Book Club, and like I said, I'll link Steph's announcement video explaining what we're all doing, because she can explain it much better than I can for this series. So the 4th book in the series is coming out, and so I am super excited to read that. I read my very first Becky Chambers book this year for the book club as well, and I loved that book, and so I can't wait to read this series. I can't wait. I've never read it before, so I'm super excited. Then we have Every Value Break by Peter Swanson, which is coming out on March 16th. Again, this is another thriller book from an author I think I've heard of before. Definitely haven't read before, at least that I can think of off of the top of my head. But this is about a dream honeymoon gone wrong when the bride's former one-night stand, it was really bad experience or whatever, shows up to their honeymoon, and things go down. I'm super excited. Again, this is another thriller book, and maybe I'll like this thriller author too. I just want to discover more authors that I've never read before. I haven't really read much during my high school or college years, except for what I had to read, just because I was so busy with what I had to read and activities and sports and everything like that. And so I just want to discover more authors. I think that's going to be one of my goals for 2021, and just have fun with it. And even if I don't like them or their style of writing, just being able to discover new books is fun as well. Then, for a little bit of a twist, I have a book called Remember. So it's going to talk about the intricacies of how we remember things, why we forget things, and how we can hold on to those special memories from the perspective of a neuroscientist, neurobiologist, so someone who is professional in the field of the mind, and why certain things happen, why we forget things the way that we do, why we can remember maybe strange things. I can remember really strange details or really strange events, but I can't remember like what I've been studying. Like, it's so annoying how I can remember some small things and like every detail to them, but I can't remember like the material I've been studying for forever for an exam or anything like that in school. So I'll be really fascinated to dive into this book and learn more about it. Maybe it could help me with memory and things like that, even though I'm not really taking tests anymore. It's always good to remember things, and also just with memories as well. I want to know if there's a certain way that we can hold on to memories besides tangible things. And so I'm super excited for that. Ooh, this other one coming out on March 23rd sounds so good. I'm so excited. It's called Red Widow by Alma Katsu. This is a spy thriller about 2 CSI agents that are women, and they kind of get tangled up in this Russian division threat thing. I don't know. I love CIA spy thrillers. Again, another thriller book, a spy thriller specifically. I love that it's focusing on women. I love women detectives and everything like that. I love reading about that. I don't know. It's just so fascinating to me, and it just makes me so excited. And I don't know why I'm so excited for this one, but I am. So that one is also coming out on March 23rd. On April 13th, we have All of the Children Are Home by Patch Reed Francis coming out. This one follows a foster family throughout a decade and what being a foster family is like. It is a novel, so it's not based on any true events, but I'm sure that it has a lot of true things that can happen to foster families. I don't know. I think the foster family aspect just inspired me and intrigued me for this one to pick it up or to put it on this list, because I don't know, it's something I'm more curious about. And again, it is from a fiction standpoint, so I know that some things might be dramatized, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of it came from either real life experience of the author or of someone that they know. And I don't know. It'll be an interesting one. I'm curious to see if this will be good or bad, because I feel like it'll either be very good or very bad. I don't know why, that's just the vibe I'm getting from it. Then we have Hour of the Witch by Chris Bajalan, coming out on April 20th. Again, this is another historical fiction that I'm curious about, because this is about a Puritan woman who is trying to get away from her violent marriage. She's still very into her Puritan spirit and beliefs and everything, but she needs to get out of this marriage. She needs to leave because of the violence that is in it. Again, it'll be curious to read about a fiction story of a Puritan woman and what their beliefs are and how they relate to leaving someone in a marriage if that goes against their beliefs. I'm not 100% sure because I am not Puritan. But yeah, it's just another historical fiction book that I think is very interesting to read about and to learn more about, and to see how certain people believe or how certain events went down, and just everything like that. So I'm really curious about this. This one really got me curious. And then finally we have Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, coming out on May 25th. I'm mostly picking this up because it's Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read Daisy Jones and the Six this year, and I was really fascinated by that book. I really liked it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I didn't like it as much as other people did, but I still really enjoyed the book. And then I think I have on here somewhere, yes, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I also have that I got from one of my Book of the Month add-ons that I definitely need to read, because I've heard this one is better than Daisy Jones and the Six. I've heard more positive things about this one, and that more people like this one from Taylor Jenkins Reid compared to Daisy Jones and the Six. So I'm super excited to get into that and to just read more Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this one follows a popular supermodel surfer girl. It's like in the early 30s in Malibu. There's going to be an end of the summer party, and I think shenanigans goes down. So what more can you ask for? It sounds like it's going to be a fun read. Alright, so those are some of the books that I'm super excited to read or that are just coming out in 2021. Like I said, I don't know if I'll actually get to them, but it doesn't matter because I'm still super excited, and I wanted to just give some of these books that some people may not have heard of a little shout out, because you never know, this could be someone's next favorite book. It could be my next favorite book. And like I said, I had to do some digging to try to find some of these other books because I didn't want to do main popular releases. And so I hope to really like them. I hope to be able to read them in 2021 because, like I said, I don't think I'll be able to read them on the day they come out, but I'm definitely going to try my best. Let me know what you guys are excited to read next year. I hope to read so many books. Probably not as many as this year because hopefully things will be getting back to normal. And so just let me know all of that down in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, keep on gabbing.